Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rebel Rewind. My name's Christopher. With me as always is Eric. How you doing, Eric?
I'm awesome, man. How you doing, Chris? How was your day?
Doing good. Cold up here. Cold. I would say Hoth cold up here. Like
Hot, cold.
yeah, like a tauntaun couldn't even keep me warm out there today.
We got a little bit of snow out the way, and now you guys are dealing with a lot more snow. And our special guest, I think we're talking about getting some really cold weather also.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah,
we're in the 80s here.
Big snowfall. Oh, 80s, yeah. So yeah, you and I were talking a little bit before we went live, and it's like minus 24 out here, so that's like minus 11 Fahrenheit. So
that's wild.
Yeah, pretty crazy. But yeah, as usual, we got some news and rumors and stuff to talk about. Well, we're going to talk about that later in the show. We're going to start with the ranking, and we do have some special guests to bring on here. So from the HoloNetMarauders, we got AJ, Matt, and Jam. Hey guys, thanks for coming on.
Hey, no problem.
You guys want to introduce yourselves and let everyone know about your channel and your podcast and all that?
Yeah, Jamie.
Yes. Okay. So, hey everybody. So thank you guys so much for having us on. Super excited to chat and rank some Star Wars shows with you guys. But about the HoloNetMarauders in general, for those who don't know, possibly, which I'm not saying everybody knows us. Nobody knows us. We're a Star Wars podcast and Star Wars YouTube channel. The three of us, AJ, Matt, and I, met at school and continue to stay in touch, and we just continued making Star Wars stuff. That's it. That's honestly it. We are a Star Wars fan podcast, and we do the recaps of like the shows along the way, and we just have a good time. We love a good glup shitto. We love pretty much every aspect of Star Wars, and yeah, that's our show.
Oh yeah,
nice. Yeah, you guys have had some pretty cool guests on as well. Like you guys recently had Mick. What is it? Giacchino?
Mick Giacchino,
yeah. Yeah. And you had Bobby Moynihan on one episode I saw. So
yeah, we've had some good people come on. It's great to have them on.
Good
and it's
people.
It's definitely a highlight for us.
Good folks.
It's funny. It's funny when someone else outside of your little circle actually just is like, "Oh yeah, you guys have had a lot of people on." Because we don't necessarily realize we've had as many people of that caliber on our show until like it's like shown back to us. And so yeah, recently we had Mick Giacchino on to talk Skeleton Crew. We had Bobby Moynihan on our show recently to talk all things Star Wars, and he showed us his entire Star Wars collection. And man, he has a lot of stuff. And then in the past, we've chatted with Emily Swallow. We've chatted with a lot of Star Wars authors. Great friends with Chris Kemshall and Adam Christopher. We chatted with Kristen Baver a ton. It's a lot. I mean, we love to chat with the Star Wars creators, but we love to chat with our peers as well. So we're super excited to like chat with you guys and to see where you're at with Star Wars.
Yeah. We're in the we're kind of in the same, like both of our channels. We're both pretty positive about Star Wars. Like we're not negative. We like there's stuff we like and we dislike, but we're not negative about it at all. As Eric's laughing about it.
It's being human, so.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
That's the way to do
it. So we're gonna be ranking our live action series, the Star Wars series, from worst to best, I guess, or seventh place to first place, however you guys want to do it. Do you guys want to start off the ranking? I don't know if one of you guys wants to go first, or
yeah. So I actually had a question. Did you want each season of Mando, or were we just doing like Mando as one?
Just as a whole.
Okay.
So,
okay.
It's tougher.
That does make this tougher.
I'm gonna have to do some
it does make it a little tough. Yeah.
I think I could. So you want me to say? Do you want us to say all of ours from back to four? Or are we gonna do one at a time?
Yeah, we'll go one at a time. Yeah, we'll go one at a time.
So we're starting at 8.
If you guys, or 7th or 8th. Yeah.
Or how many? Yeah, how many are there?
I think it's 7.
Did I
Unless
miss
I'm missing
one?
7. I know. I always feel like I'm forgetting one somehow, but there's 7. Okay, so
yeah, I think there's 7. So like there's Mandalorian. For a refresher, there's Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi, Andor, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and the Acolyte. So there you go.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I got my rankings here. Then all set.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I guess
Did you
I'll
want
kick
to?
off.
Yeah. Do you want to kick
Wait a
off?
minute.
Yeah.
Chris, I got a interesting
Okay.
idea. Why don't we do like 7? We go, check and see everybody who's their number 7, and then
Yeah.
work our way down.
Yeah.
How do you
I
guys
like
Yeah.
that.
That's what we'll do.
That
Yeah.
Less
works.
confusing.
Oh yeah.
So who we?
So, yeah. Sure. So
Okay.
AJ, what
The
you want to go
Podameron.
start with
Who
your
talks
7?
first?
Yeah.
I saw at 7 I have Kenobi, which I feel
Okay.
bad about because I was jazzed for that show to come out, and we were at Star Wars
Yeah.
Celebration Anaheim. We were up close the day of with Hayden and Ewan, really excited for it. And the premiere was fun, like the 2-episode premiere they had. But I don't know, some of that show just didn't hit with me as much, and it didn't visually look as stunning as some of the other shows we've gotten. I know a lot of it was used on the volume, so it was subject to that. And a lot of it was very dark. And I don't know, I feel bad like ranking my Star Wars things because people will think like my last place I hate it. Anything Star Wars I pretty much love. So like, yeah, it's 7th, but I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think for
Matt, do you
Marauders. Oh, go ahead, Matt. Go.
Yeah. We'll just
Me
do a
go?
loop here. Yeah.
This is-
We'll do a little loop here.
This is tough, and you guys, my fellow Marauders might hate me for saying this, but I actually might put Book of Boba Fett at the bottom.
Really?
Maybe.
I don't hate you.
I don't hate you, but I'm just surprised.
It's tough. All right, I am a sucker for lightsabers for one thing. So a story about Jedi will catch my interest much more than a story about a bounty hunter or anybody else. Again, as AJ said, just because it's at the bottom does not mean I don't like it.
Book of Boba Fett has like one of your favorite episodes of all time.
Of all time has Luke Skywalker training Grogu. I love that to death. It does not belong in Book of Boba Fett, but I love that moment to death. And I also love like the first 3 or 4 episodes, maybe 2 or 3 episodes of Book of Boba Fett when he's, taken in by the Tuskens, trains with them, when he basically like Lawrence of Arabia's them, that's cool. That's fantastic. But it feels a little disjointed once we get to the middle. The Pikes, I don't care about fish. I do not care about fish villains. I hate to say it. I was really hoping the Jabba twins would be like the villains. They introduce them for like a second. They show up and they're like, here's a Rancor. Bye. I was a little disappointed about that. And the Robert Rodriguez episodes are a little, Robert Rodriguez, which I like
Spy
Robert
Kids.
Rodriguez, but they're a little over the top. They're a little silly on it.
Yeah, okay.
Overall, even though it's my 7th pick, I still love Book of Boba Fett for all the reasons I just listed, and probably more than I'm forgetting.
Well thought out.
Sounds about right for you. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Do you want to go next?
I'll continue. So my pick's the same as AJ's. My 7th place is Kenobi. Honestly, it's because I always forget Kenobi as a show exists. And I hate to say that, but I've said it many times before on our show. I genuinely always forget that it's actually a show that exists and it's not just like a book anymore. It's something else. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the entire thing. I enjoyed the Inquisitor arc. I enjoyed the little Qui-Gon. Here we go at the end.
Yeah.
But other than that, it doesn't stick in my brain, which is unfortunate.
We cried at the Qui-Gon
We
part.
cried.
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
Qui-Gon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's number 7, just because it just doesn't stick in my brain. I love Obi-Wan. He's one of my all-time favorite Jedi, but like, he didn't need his own show. So like, it is what it is.
Yeah, should have been a movie.
I agree.
I guess I'll go next. I guess. So, yeah, I'm on the same page as Matt actually. So, Book of Boba Fett. Sorry, Eric. I know you're a big fan of Boba Fett. There.
Oh my god.
We're drawing a line in the sand.
2-2 right now. Eric's got to be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, Eric's gonna be the tiebreaker.
Unless he pulls out a wild card on us.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It should be interesting how he picks his 7th spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, Book of Boba Fett, like it was enjoyable. Like I'm the same way. Like there's no bad Star Wars. There's stuff that I like more and I'll watch more. than other shows and other movies, but I don't think there's any bad Star Wars at all. But the Book of Boba Fett, yeah, the best part of it was the Mando episodes. Like, you got Mando, you had Luke, you had Grogu, lightsaber. Like, I'm the same way. I for the most part, I like lightsabers over all the other boring. Well, not boring. It's not boring stuff, but you know what I mean. Like, compared to lightsabers, it doesn't hold up. So, yeah. So, Book of Boba Fett's down there because of that. Like, Chrysanthemum was great. And again, like the first few episodes where you saw Boba training with the Tuskens and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree. The Pikes didn't really need to be there. The Hutt twins were kind of, the Hutt twins were kind of odd, I guess. I kind of wanted more from Danny Trejo because like he's such a great actor.
I know, he was funny.
Right?
It was fun to see him in there.
But yeah, like I said, like the best episodes were the Mando episodes, Mando 2.5. So,
are you guys big Cobb Vanth fans?
I do like Cobb Vanth, and I like now I can't even think of the actor's name that plays
Timothy Oliphant.
Timothy Oliphant. Yeah, like because he's a great actor.
We're huge Cobb Vanth fans.
Huge.
I have a cutout of him back there, but yeah, no, we're always talking about him.
Look at him. He's like peeking out from the corner.
He's peeking.
He looks like he's
that's
really funny, actually. You got to.
I'm still waiting for his comeback, right? Like he's
right.
We know he's in like the
3 years.
Yeah,
let him out.
So
there he is.
Free him.
Right.
I gotta get better lighting in here. I got the bookshelves, not yet the lighting though. But
yeah, Eric.
All right, well, I'm going to have to draw the line in the sand also. The Acolyte. I'm sorry, I'm going to be that guy.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm going to be that guy. But, yeah, so the show for me had potential, right? But it never, right, for me, didn't hit the mark for me. I mean, we had some great characters. Jackie Lon.
Yeah.
Awesome. Chimere, Darth Plagueis. It just, for me, the characters never really, I never grew into, fond of the characters. I didn't, we got them. That's cool, but in like we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, the possibility of maybe getting a animated series that I would like. I like to have a Chimere, a Plagueis animated series, or maybe some training or something like that. Or let's see where that story kind of goes along. And I know he eventually kills him off, but I like to see maybe a little bit more of that character. But for the most part, I didn't feel. I mean, it was good. We had some amazing scenes also. So we had some good. And then, I didn't feel, like I said, like that much connection to the character or story. So for me, it was so. And I know you like that. I know you like this the series. Yes, I know you do. But yeah.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. AJ, back to you for the number 6 spot.
So this was tough. This is where, because I definitely knew Kenobi was at the bottom for me, unfortunately. But coming in at 6, and this was pretty much a coin flip. You could ask me tomorrow, it might be different. But 6, I have the Acolyte, which might surprise Matt as he looks stunned down there.
I'm just playing it up.
I actually, so this is weird because I really enjoyed the Acolyte. I know it was a tough time to be a Star Wars fan online because there was so much crap going around about it. We try to be a positive light, and we had a lot of fun with the show. I really enjoyed the show, and I don't want to think it got brought down because of all the negative people out there. But I think, I don't know why I have it at 7, I guess, but I loved Chimere, like Eric was saying. I thought I think it was my character of the year for our year in review, or at least villain of the year. We had him at.
I think he was. Yeah. That was like a slam dunk for you.
He was such a cool character. Like, I'm a huge Kylo Ren fan, so he gave me Kylo Ren vibes again. That kind of villain. So we felt that again. I don't think I really connected as much with May and Osha as the main characters. The actress, I'm forgetting her name, but phenomenal job playing both. Like playing both. Like you almost forgot it was the same actress sometimes.
Yeah,
the same actor. So I don't want to say she didn't do a good job or anything, but I don't think Osha or May connected with me as much. I loved Soul, but I don't know. I guess in the end it kind of fell flat, and maybe it's because it didn't get renewed for season 2, but it kind of just left a flat feeling in my mouth. But yeah,
All right.
Flat feeling.
Yeah.
Flat feeling.
Yeah.
Try saying that one like 10 times
But
faster.
I did really enjoy it. I want that to be known.
Yeah.
You know, we have to caveat everything with
Every time.
just to make sure.
Yeah.
So I'm going to caveat this one by saying, but I really like it. Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I had it just a tick higher than my Marauder cohorts. Just because I think after it came out, I kind of leaned into the people who really enjoyed it to see what they liked about it and kind of let them explain it to me a little bit. And, you know, kind of looking back at it, I kind of see what they were going with. There are some decisions, like obviously the CG was not up to snuff. The budget could have been bigger. The volume was used way too much, but that is a symptom of COVID more than anything else. Same with the Acolyte's inflated budget, which we'll get to. But the whole idea of like there's 6 episodes, there's 3 episodes that kind of represent each prequel film, leading up to the fight with him and Vader, where he gets dragged through the fire, has to kind of like come back from that. And then the last 3 episodes are basically like Empire or A New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi, with like the big victory against Vader at the end. I really like that. Obviously, the final duel, even though it's a little hard to see, is really cool. Adds some layers to the characters' kind of relationship that I really like. The slicing of the mask, that kind of stuff. Ewan's acting his ass off. Yeah. The girl who plays Leia is acting her ass off. Yeah. A couple of our friends were acting their asses off in the background. Love them.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I think there are some really neat ideas kind of hidden beneath the surface of shaky cam cinematography, which I don't really think belongs in Star Wars. So I'm hoping that kind of stays where it stays in Kenobi. It was an experiment to see if it worked. In my opinion, it didn't. So other than that, most of Kenobi I actually really enjoyed. And the lightsabers were
the
just
caveat.
Really cool. Yeah, the caveat.
All right. Yeah. Well, AJ and I have the same list so far because my number 6 is also the Acolyte. I really enjoyed Acolyte a lot. But that being said, I was never a show that I was super looking forward to. Like, I love Jedi. I've always loved Jedi a ton, and I love the High Republic. It's been one of my favorite eras of Star Wars and to experience through the books and the comics. But the show didn't quite hit for me in the way that I thought it was going to. Like, there's a couple episodes I absolutely adored and like characters that I loved. Like, I loved Jackie, I loved Soul. I couldn't tell you anyone else's name offhand. So it's unfortunately like another one, like it didn't stick with me in my brain. And like, I hate to say that, but like the ones that are lower in the rankings for me are the ones that I just can't remember as well as all the other ones because I didn't just like connect with them as much. It was funny. We were doing our year in review for 2024 recently, and we were trying to pull up information about the Acolyte. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I can't remember a single thing about this show. Like, you had like Basil sniffing around, but like, what actually was happening there? There was like 2 solid episodes of this little chipmunk guy sniffing around, and I'm like, okay, sure. So unfortunately, the Acolyte is 6th place for me, and I know that Matt's probably going to rank it much higher just due to the whole Jedi aspect, but like, it didn't do it for me, so it's at 6.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's cool to get the High Republic too. I know we went past my time, but
that was super cool as well. I think that one thing for me, since like I love the stories like written in the novels and whatnot so far, is like the High Republic in the novels was so different than it was in the Acolyte. And like the Acolyte was much later than what's happening in the novels so far, but it still felt like a different era than the High Republic. So of course it felt different than the prequels, but it also felt like it wasn't the High Republic either. It was this, I don't know. I enjoyed it, but it also was like, it's the High Republic, but it's not. And so I'm sitting there like, okay. So it was probably a me thing more than anything else. So
All right, so for me, I'm on pretty much the same page as Matt still. So
Hey, all
So
right.
for number 6, Kenobi. Yeah, so it's higher than Book of Boba because the lightsabers, again, the visual effects were kind of meh. Like especially the de-aging, like Hayden, and Ewan kind of looked like they were maybe in their 40s instead of their their 50s or whatever. So they de-aged them like 10 years or something. But yeah, the duel with Vader and Obi-Wan was great. Hayden did a great job, and like the fact that we got Hayden back acting again as Anakin was awesome. But yeah, other than that, like it wasn't too memorable for me. So that's why I ranked it a bit lower on my list.
Yeah,
again,
I think I'm gonna
sabers, right? So
yeah, I'm gonna agree with a lot of you guys. 6 Obi-Wan Kenobi, just like you were saying, Jam. I forgot that was a show for a bit.
It's unfortunate.
And yeah. And a lot of you were saying, Matt. Also, a lot of the points you were given. And the shaky camera, the way it was filmed, it was just too dark. I didn't feel that they should have focused, I think, more on Obi-Wan and Anakin a little bit more in the series, in my opinion. But yeah, for the same reason, I kind of felt flat. Potential was there for an amazing, show. And it would have ranked up there, I think, in my opinion, as the best if we would have gotten a lot more than what we got. So it was potentially up there. Could have been like the best one, but no.
It's an interesting show too, because I feel like for a lot of people it was like one of the most hyped shows. Or I remember the trailer they released with Duel of the Fates playing and the music, and we see the Fortress Inquisitorius, and we're like, oh, we're getting Ewan and Hayden again. Like it was a huge deal. But I think just the way it was produced kind of made it fall a little flat, unfortunately. But
yeah, and no disrespect to Deborah Chow either, because like
no, not at all. Because I mean, some of her other episodes she's directed outside of Kenobi like were phenomenal.
Yeah, she's done a great job. Yeah. So yeah, it's just unfortunate that it. I don't know, man. I don't know where they went wrong with it.
Yeah,
really.
It was a movie that was turned into a show.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And that's just tough. I mean, that's difficult to pull off.
Yeah.
And I think we talk about the darkness with it, like the iconic duels of the final duel of the show was on this dark, like rocky planet that like you couldn't see. It wasn't very iconic to me. It wasn't Mustafar. It wasn't, a duel on Cloud City. Like it was just on a pile of rocks and some
it's funny.
gravel pit.
I actually kind of disagree with that, but I agree with the darkness. Definitely dark, and that's that why that's done. It's to mask the CG.
Yeah, right.
But it's we haven't gotten a fight on a pile of rocks before.
I don't.
So it was new. It was a new setting.
I don't want to ever again.
No, it's cool. You got the fire, you got the water, you got the rocks, you got earth.
Gotta
and I guess you could argue that the Death Star 2 is
sand.
Yeah.
We get a lot of rock scenes on a lot of shows and movies now.
Well, yeah. Oh my God.
And and everything. So I was like, I don't get it. But
half of the show looked like it was filmed in Dave Filoni's backyard,
Whereas,
just like Mando season 2.
If you compare it to like the Acolyte, which I know we also kind of had ranked in this neighborhood, or some of us did, like the night episode, which was amazing. Day and night, those back-to-back episodes, I loved those. They filmed it in a forest, and I know like they've used the forest a couple times in Star Wars, but like that looked great.
I think that Day and Night was actually soundstage, but they had like the luxury of using the actual on location for majority of their show. But with like the forest specifically, that was soundstage. But
very similar to like Force Awakens. I didn't mean actual forest.
They're not having these guys out there in the middle of the woods swinging lightsabers around
in the rainforest,
wiring them up.
Not anymore.
In the trees.
But yeah.
Kay said, "Hey all." AK.
Hello.
AK.
Kay said Kenobi had some good moments, but was overall cheap and lacking for me. Yeah.
It was a product of when it was made, unfortunately, which is funny to say, but it is exactly that. So
it's unfortunate. It is, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and it had a smaller budget too than most of the other shows as well, didn't it?
Yeah. Fun
Yeah.
fact about it:
So,
George Lucas's favorite Star Wars show produced under Disney. So there you go.
Makes sense though. Those are his Hayden and Ewan are his babies.
Those are his
for lack of a
boys.
better
yeah,
term.
He's like, oh,
Yeah.
Darth Vader.
they're like his sons.
I love
Exactly.
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Pretty good impression.
Oh my god.
Matt's full of them.
Yeah. I think around 90 mil.
Okay.
Yeah, Kay said I think around 90 mil for the budget. I mean, that's not too bad either, but I mean, compared to what the Acolyte budget, so
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
that was severely inflated also because of COVID. Is what I've learned. Which, you know, it is
That's
again,
what
it is what it
you.
is.
Yeah.
You're just kind of you're stuck with the time that you produce these shows in, and you're gonna
What are you
get
gonna
that.
do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to kick off number 5, AJ?
Oh yeah. So one that's been mentioned already, I think once or twice, Book of Boba Fett. So I think this show was a huge disjointed mess, but in a good way. Like sometimes you can have a good
caveat.
mess. Yeah.
The caveat.
But I had a lot of fun with it. Like it was great to see Boba Fett getting a story. I know some people thought like it was going to go another direction. Maybe he was like too good or something, but I didn't really mind that. I liked getting his backstory. As Matt said, the Tusken Raider episodes were awesome, and him finding his way with them. Like those are some of the best Star Wars episodes.
Fantastic.
Like this show had some of my favorite Star Wars episodes in them, with those, and then later with the Cobb Vanth Luke Skywalker episode with Mando, which has no Boba Fett, I don't think.
Nope.
But then I think that's why I have it in the middle rather than the bottom. Like it has those shows, those episodes, I should say, and the rest of the episodes are kind of, I think, as Matt said, those were the Robert Rodriguez episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did like the back end of the season.
Maybe the first and the last or something. But I mean, it was even cool. Like the finale didn't blow me away, but it was cool to see Mando and Boba Fett. Like we have that image of them fighting side by side, and that's like kind of an iconic picture of the two of them.
You got the iconic spin. Very good. Need that. Need more of that. But then also you get Boba riding a Rancor through Mos Espa. That's an image I never thought I'd see in a million years.
And we got
that on
we
screen.
got Cad Bane.
And we got Cad Bane
live action.
And Cad Bane, yeah.
Yeah. So
like
this
a lot
show
of people
was.
don't like how he looks. I love how he looks.
I think he looked fine.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. We talked about Cobb Vanth, of course. But yeah, I mean, the show was full of like home runs, but it was also full of maybe a couple strikeouts too. But
Cobb Vanth shows up a total of like 5 minutes, and both of you
awesome.
are
Made
like,
the year.
Cobb Vanth.
Made the year. Happy third anniversary of that. I mean, oh my god.
Dude.
yeah, 3 years ago it came out.
3
It
years
feels like it came
ago.
out yesterday.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Crazy is right.
Not like I'm counting, but I am counting.
We haven't seen him in 3 years.
Free my boy.
Yeah. Kay said episode 2 of Book of Boba was my favorite.
Yeah.
And then episode 6 from the desert with Desert Came a Stranger. Yeah.
I might
Cobb
flip
Vanth
those,
right?
but those are my two two favorites.
From the desert
Sure,
comes a stranger, or whatever it was called. Like that's such a good title for an episode too. Like, I want that
Yeah.
on a t-shirt.
Yeah. I like the main girl from the Power Ranger gang.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sophie
yeah.
Thatcher. She's
yeah.
What was Thrash, right? Or
Drash.
I think so.
Thrash.
Yeah.
Thrash. Great
Um,
name.
but we could have done without them for sure. Yeah, and their
Mods.
Vespa speeders.
I like them. They didn't, just like the show, they didn't fully execute it maybe to their potential, but yeah, it was yeah, exactly.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Matt, what was your pick?
Okay, so my pick is Acolyte. Surprisingly, Jamie thought I was gonna rank it higher, but
I wasn't sure. Yeah.
I didn't know what you can do.
Like the Jedi definitely elevated for me. The show is dark in terms of like the show's content. Maybe a little too dark for my liking. I was talking to my parents about it recently, and my dad had a complaint that's really stuck with me a lot. He says there were no heroes in the show. You know, everybody had some kind of like dark secret that they didn't own up to, or they couldn't like redeem. And because like the show is told from a very Sith perspective. And I don't like the Sith. Like, I think they're cool looking, but every time a Sith pontificates, my eyes roll to the back of my skull because nothing they say is justifiable. Like, they're like, oh, I kill people because everybody's mean to me and they don't let me kill people. Like, that's Chimere's whole thing is like, oh man, I kill people because the galaxy won't let me kill people. Like, okay, dude. I still love Chimere. I still love his pontifications, when they're challenged properly, which I think Osha does a good job of doing. It's the same kind of thing with like Rey and Luke in The Last Jedi, where you pontificate, but you make sure that, the Jedi, the light side or the right, are correct at the end of the day. And you kind of had this thing where Osha falls to the dark side and it's like celebrated. And that kind of like, I don't know, it just didn't work for me because, at the end of the day, they're all going to have a horrible death unless they redeem themselves, because that's just what happens to the Sith. So it's not a victory, even though a lot of people think it is. And that's open to misinterpretation and misreading and all that. And I don't know. Its treatment of the Jedi, I think, was more charitable than a lot of people do. But I still think it was too harsh in some aspects. I don't know. But at the end of the day, amazing lightsaber fights. Night was a fantastic episode.
Yeah.
Great turning point. Chimere, Yord, Jeki, all fantastic characters. Even Kelnaka, Torben, all of them were all fantastic characters. And Osha and May, I actually think were really cool. And I love the idea of twins born through the Force. And the Sith kind of getting their eyes on that, being like, "Oh, I wonder if we could do that with."
Yeah, that was fun to talk
the
about.
fact that they're twins, that's cool. Twin imagery is also, always very big in Star Wars. So I'm always down for like the dark side, light side twins who switch spots. That's cool. It's a cool idea. Vernestra was another cool addition.
Yeah. Also not a lightsaber hero.
Whip. Also not a hero, which is wild to me because if you've read the books, she's a totally different character. I know she's like 16 in the books.
It's been a while.
Not kind to Vernestra Rowe. She is a jerk.
That's a great point though about your dad. No heroes.
Yeah, it really sticks with me. It really stuck with me.
True.
There were no heroes. At the end of the day, it's just a very
Basil.
depressing show. Yeah, okay, Basil. You're right.
No.
I take it back. Sorry, Dad, you're wrong. Basil.
Yeah.
Basil the Beaver.
Whoop-de-doo, Basil.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so for number 5, this was really difficult for me to pick. Oh, sorry, unless you want to do your comment highlights.
Yeah. So Kay was just saying Osha and May weren't developed well enough, in my opinion. Love Chimere though, yeah.
I do agree a touch because I feel like they could do so much more, and they still could do so much more, and I hope that eventually they do continue stuff for the Acolyte.
I want a season 2 of Acolyte. Like,
if
there's anything,
so do I.
I demand a season 2 of the Acolyte.
You introduced Plagueis. I mean, you want more.
If they're not going to get that, at least I want books.
Yeah.
There's 2 Acolyte books coming out this year, for crying out loud. Give us at least that.
Give me a video game. I don't know. I'll take anything.
Sure. Okay. So my number 5. So this was difficult to pick. I'll get into specifics why, but I think I'm going to settle on this one didn't make me cry, but the other one did. So my number 4 is going to be Book of Boba Fett, and it pains me to say it because of Cobb Vanth. Him showing up, like that episode from The Desert Comes a Stranger is one of my all-time favorite Star Wars episodes, but honestly, not because of the Luke part, literally just because of the Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane having their showdown. But I really enjoyed Book of Boba Fett overall. There's a lot of pieces that are just like wonky, but at the same time, it's just fun. It's just fun Star Wars. And like at the time when it came out, I remember it was just a blast because it was like so wonky and zany. And like at that point in time, like we just had like Mando, and then like Boba Fett was just like an extension of like that directly. And I don't know, I loved every like moment of it. Like there was good and bad parts, but like when I look back on it, I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I don't want to rank it number 5, but my number 4 made me cry in a good way. So like I'm gonna
think what that could be.
Oh, it's you'll know it. It's stupid.
You'll know it. It was a show.
You'll know it.
What are you gonna do?
uh,
I don't know why we keep saying that.
so Book of Boba Fett, number 5.
Because we're at the bottom of the
for me.
list, AJ. We're at the bottom, so you gotta say, what are you gonna do?
We're in the middle.
Now we are. Now we're getting
Almost.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, so for my number 5, again, I'm same as Matt, the Acolyte.
there. All right, guys, I'm leaving the
Like,
HoloNetMarauders. I'm joining these guys. Sorry. We just agree with more.
Yeah, the lightsaber duels, like the choreography were on point. Like I think some of the best lightsaber duels since the prequels.
Yeah.
Soul was amazing. Like Lee Jung Jae is such an incredible actor.
Absolutely.
Chimere, like Manny Jacinto, was amazing.
Yeah.
Jackie Lawn as well. I wish we had more Kalnaka. I wish we had more Indara. Yeah. And the Osha and May thing, like I love that. Like not technically twins, like they split one person into two using the Force, right? And
it's a dyad, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's a dot. Yeah, and it doesn't take away from Anakin's story either. Like they weren't born from the Force, like they were. They manipulated the Force to create another life form from her, right? So, I enjoyed all that, and then we got Plagueis too, right? So I do want a second season of that as well, but just the reason it's so low is like I enjoyed the other stuff more. So I don't hate the Acolyte. I love the Acolyte, but I love the other stuff a little bit more. So yeah.
Well, there you go.
Very fair.
Yeah. Eric.
All right, I'm gonna go off road right here.
Okay.
And this is a little hint on what the next my number 5 is gonna be. I'm not sure if you guys can catch that. No. Okay. So we're gonna go with the Skeleton Crew.
Whoa.
That's my number. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And you know what I'm talking about, the ditch. But anyway, so Skeleton Crew for me, I mean, I love the series, man. It was one of my favorite, because it played on my 80s nostalgia, that feel that we got from a lot of those Hamlin films and things like that. So, I got that and I enjoyed it. So also the story was good. Also the kids, they as a group, they played, they acted so well together. Individually, they had their own little stories. I enjoyed those stories, but it's just for me where this is placed at. I have another show that I think that you guys already counted that one for the next one. But for pretty much for me, I feel like number 5, I think is a good place for Skeleton Crew. I enjoyed it. I loved it, and it's just that's how I'm gonna go with it. I know how to make them.
Yeah, I get it, because I mean, like you enjoy it. Yeah, there's other stuff you enjoy more. Right? So,
but no, this was it was an amazing show. I loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
AJ, back to you.
What are we at, number 4 now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, number 4.
Yep, number 4, Bobby Orr.
I was like, don't say it.
I had to say it. Anyways, so this might be a bit of a surprise for the people out there, but number 4, The Mandalorian. Whoa. So I don't know if that's surprising or not. So that's I know, surprising. That was the first live action show we got here. But if we're lumping them all together, I kind of average it in at 4. Season 2 would be, if we were doing separately, season 2 would be, way up there probably among the top. But season 1, honestly, when it came out, I was still in the, we were still in the pre Rise of Skywalker era there when the movie was coming out, and the Jedi Fallen Order come out. So a lot came out at once. I remember we had Triple Force Friday, if you guys remember that way back when, 2019. So I was like more focused on the Jedi oriented things, as Matt would say. And I've never been a huge fan of Mandalorian lore. Like when we get it in Rebels, it's cool. Mandalore. When we get in Clone Wars, it's all very cool, but it's not my thing. It's not my bag, as some would say. And season 2 was awesome, but it was also kind of like flavor of the week. Like, okay, we get this this character this week, this cameo, which was fun, but I didn't want the whole show to be that. Season 3, I know some people didn't like as much. I still liked. I liked a lot of it, like the Pershing episode on Coruscant.
Yes,
felt like an Andor episode almost. So that was cool. Bo-Katan coming in. I love Bo-Katan, and it kind of became her show, as people said. I liked that personally. I love Din Djarin, but who doesn't love Grogu as well? But it just doesn't hit with me as much. I know people love Mandalorians out there. It's just not my not my cup of tea per se. But I am looking forward to where the story goes, though. So
yeah. And that movie comes out next year, so that should be exciting to see where they continue and how they tie in some of these other shows to it as well. So
a lot of not that we get into rumors, but a lot of interesting rumors surrounding that show for sure.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
We'll see how it goes, but yeah.
A Jack Stinky.
Yeah, that'll be. I mean,
Right?
honestly, maybe it'll just be a really fun adventure, and that's all I really
I mean, it
want
probably
from
will be.
so, yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
a jacked hut in it. How could it not be
Yeah.
a fun
I
adventure?
know.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Star Wars nerd says hello there. Hey, Star Wars nerd.
Hello there.
And I think that comment was to AJ's ranking of the Mandalorian Wozies.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Sorry.
I'll show myself out.
Yeah. So my 4. This is really tough.
The top 4, are
like
tough.
really tough. God. I'm gonna have to say Skeleton Crew.
Whoa,
I love Skeleton Crew,
Wosies.
but no, there's no but. I love Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew is fantastic. It's just that, come on, if AJ and Jamie know anything, I geek out about the other 3 shows like a lot.
It's not as grand for you.
It's not as grand, but
Yeah.
God, it was just so much fun. And it's not even just recency bias. I'm really looking forward to watching it again, which I haven't even done with like Book of Boba Fett or Obi-Wan or The Acolyte. But I have done with like the top 3. So I think that might also color my perception a little bit of those. But Skeleton Crew is just a really fun time. Space pirates, like fleshing out space pirates in Star Wars on screen and having such like a fun, like Amblin type adventure, as you said. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
It was the perfect formula for Star Wars. And you know, I'm not going to say any buts because there really weren't any. It's just my personal preference at this point to like, oh, these ones have Jedi and cool mythological things, and this one's fun pirates. You know, so,
Hey, they mentioned a Jedi.
well, yeah, and Jod was like half small.
We get a
part
lightsaber.
Jedi. We do get a lightsaber at the very end.
Yeah.
And Wim using it, fantastic, awesome stuff.
Yeah. And it could be a High Republic lightsaber with the colors like the gold and silver.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it. It definitely looked like High Republic aesthetic. So we keep getting that. And we don't know if the Great Works program was Old Republic, High Republic, or whatever. So that could be another High Republic reference, but I don't no friggin' clue. They wouldn't tell us. They refused to tell us. Season 2, please. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope so. I hope so.
Agreed. So my number 4. You know how last round I said that this one made me cry? Guess what? I'm actually switching out my number 3 because of AJ's explanation of things, and I have a feeling AJ's and mine's list are going to be exactly the same.
Oh, come on.
Maybe I don't mean it to be, although I'm
happens.
not quite sure about the next ones. Anyway, so my number 4 recently has been switched to The Mandalorian.
Wow.
For the same reasons, because AJ specifically mentioned when season 1 came out, we were still in the middle of the sequel trilogy or towards the end of it. And I'm not even kidding. I am so hell bent over like the releases of things sometimes because like it's the kind of thing I enjoy this one thing and I love this other thing as well. But when there's other things getting released at the same time, I can't enjoy them both to the same caliber. Like when Mando season 1 came out, I loved it. But I was never really like big in like the Mandalorians or like their culture in general. And if anything, I've kind of been like a bit more like turned off about Mandalorians over the course of the past like 5 years because of the show. I love the show, but I'm also just like, okay.
Yeah.
I've also gotten some of my all-time favorite Star Wars characters like from this, like Cobb Vanth, but although he was in a book first. But like I love Din Djarin. I do love Grogu. It took a long time for me to like, come around to like loving him, though. I have to admit, I'm like the only person on Earth who like didn't love the green bean from the start. But it is what it is. And yeah, I think at one point in the chat, like Kay mentioned that Mando pretty much became like a creature of the week. I loved that.
Yeah.
I did too. I'm not gonna lie.
I loved that it was that. But at the
Mm.
same time, if you're looking for something that's like the longer story, it's like, ah, man, we're getting this again. And sometimes you'd rather want the longer story instead. So like, I get that from both sides. But I am gonna keep it at number 4 for me overall. Also just due to the fact that season 2 is like one of my favorite seasons of all time, but season 3, and season 1 was better. And so because like the weight of the different seasons, it's unfortunately ranked at number 4. That's my pick.
What
That's
are you
fair.
gonna do?
Yeah. Kay also said that Skeleton Crew may be number 3 for me. It was so well done, but in the grand scheme of Star Wars, maybe lacking some depth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so for my, what are we? 4? So number 4, I went with Ahsoka. So
You're wearing the
Ahsoka
shirt.
was amazing. I know. Surprise.
Throw us off.
It's not number 1.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, because like Hayden is in it as Anakin. The de-aging was a lot better than Kenobi. The lightsabers, again, like the lightsaber duels for the most part were incredible. Baylan Skoll was perfect. Like Ray Stevenson could like they couldn't have found a better actor. Should be interesting to see how Rory McCann does in the next season. Yeah, but like I'm a big Rebels fan, so like seeing Hera Syndulla in live action, seeing
Sabine,
the droid again. Yeah, Sabine
Chopper.
as well. Like all those characters. Yeah, Chopper, the other one as well.
Ezra.
The
Hu Yang.
Oh, the Hu Yang.
Hu
There we
Yang.
go.
Hu Yang.
Hu Yang.
Yeah.
Hu Yang. Yeah.
Throwing out all the main character names, and you're looking
Right?
for Hu Yang. My bad.
I was looking for Hu Yang.
Hey,
Yeah,
Hu Yang
I know
was
I know who
protagonist.
Chopper is. No, but like seeing all that stuff was awesome. And then like even like the little like Easter eggs and the cameos and stuff. Like you got Carson Teva in it. The Easter eggs, like the Kanan photo inside the cockpit of the Ghost. It's like,
Yeah.
I love all that. Like fan servicey, sure, but like you know,
It works.
serve me up all that fan service stuff. So
Yeah.
Kay
All right.
said, what's she saying? Don't get me wrong, the lack of depth wasn't a bad thing for that show, especially for getting kids interested in Star Wars. My daughter loved it. Yeah, exactly. So like that's the thing about Skeleton Crew, right? Like it's a kids show. But I mean, you can argue that Star Wars is for kids. That's what George said. He's always said that, right?
Yeah.
So
For sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
oh, there we go. Hatter's House said that the best show was The Acolyte.
All right.
There we go. Some
Oh.
Acolyte love.
You
Oh,
tricked
just
me.
kidding.
You tricked me.
Oh.
You tricked us.
Oh,
I got excited. I'm always happy
I
to
know.
hear people who love the Acolyte.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
know.
Not
Yeah.
today.
Eric.
All right.
number
So
four-
finally,
number 4 for you.
yeah. So finally had to get to Book of Boba Fett. So it had, you know what? I love Boba Fett, my favorite character. But the way it was written, the way they, okay, let me just kind of go over my information here. So it could have ranked higher, but there was moments where they did, you know, Boba Fett kind of wrong. They made him, I think they made him too soft, and we got a little bit of that old Boba Fett in it, and I enjoyed watching those parts when he was gunning down those biker gangs. So that was a fun time. There were some things I didn't like. Sorry, the Vespa gang. I didn't care too much for the characters. I mean, it felt like, I don't know, the characters, but it just kind of felt off to me. It didn't feel like they belonged. I mean, bikes were too clean. It just kind of felt like they were trying to, I don't know, push something on us. But I think, in my opinion, I just didn't care too much for the Vespa gang. But I mean, I did love the storyline for him becoming the pretty much the what do you call it, the daimyo of so yeah, and Tamora Morrison, he played his part. He was given how to play the part, and he did what he's supposed to do. I enjoyed the show, and it kind of, I had to put it up there, but 4 I think was where I felt comfortable with being.
4's not bad. I
Yeah,
acted like 4 was bad when I picked it for Skeleton Crew, but it's not bad.
no.
Yeah, no, I feel like we rank these things and we list them and like, oh, this is what I didn't like about it, but we should be saying like 4 is a good position.
Yeah.
Because it's like
well, that's what
I
I
like.
tried.
It's
not
like I
to do
liked
with
the
Skeleton
thing,
Crew. Yeah,
but I liked the other things that are to follow more. That's
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
what it's
Exactly.
gonna be.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that doesn't mean they're.
Oh yeah, Cobb Vanth was an amazing character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love
Very
Cobb.
true.
Cad Bane, Rancor, Luke. We got him.
And the whole crawling out of the Sarlacc pit. I love that they took that from the Parks and was it Parks and
Yeah.
Recs? Where,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well.
Maybe
Yeah.
they didn't even do the timing. The timing was just like he was
Yeah, the
saying.
timing
I
was
like,
perfect.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
god.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Called it, dude.
Yeah. Hatter's House said, I don't hate the Acolyte, though.
Well, I'm glad about
There
that.
were
That's
some
good.
parts.
Yeah.
There were some things. I
Yeah,
liked
some haters didn't hate the Acolyte, but overall tier list, it ends up being mid. Mid's not bad. Jedi Lex says
all right.
wanted to stop by,
Hey,
say
Jedi.
hey, and show some love. Hey, Lex. Yep, well, I love them all, just some more than others. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no
Yeah.
bad Star Wars, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're
I
like
agree.
children. They're like your
Yeah.
children. You just
There we
love
go.
some more than others.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Okay, moving into number 3 then.
Ooh, top 3. Here we go. Bronze.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that bronze. So at 3, I have Skeleton Crew.
Ooh.
I thought about putting it at
shocker.
2. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was great. It was a fun ride, which is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I feel like it sort of reinvented what some Star Wars stories can be, because it kind of went after that 80s feel, that Amblin film that we've talked about a couple of times now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a blast. I thought it was like, for what it could have been, I think it was like perfect. I don't really give out 10 out of 10s to anything, but like it was pretty much a perfect show for what it wanted to be. But what puts it at 3 for me is it's not this grand story, but at the same time, that is what I like about it. It was nice to get this like minor league side pirate story, because those are some of we kind of called it Glup Shido the show. Like,
I love that.
it was kind of a bunch of pirates, and our mascot for our show is based off of a pirate. So
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, all the kids, like going into it, I was like, okay, nothing against kid actors, of course, but like kids can be tough in shows. You know, Stranger Things has nailed it. The Amblin films have nailed it. Like, and this show totally nailed it. I was surprised at how awesome they all were. I love seeing all the press of all of them too, like all of them hanging out. Really want a season 2. I assume there'd be some time jump because they're a bit older now. But
Yeah, they said there
Jod was an amazing character who we all love now, and
I love Jod.
he's our belovable slime ball.
He didn't do anything wrong. Belovable. I
Did not
like
do
that.
anything wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Looks like Kay agrees with you as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Bronze medal to Skeleton Crew. It's a high honor.
It is.
Yeah.
Getting bronze in anything is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
My bronze medal goes to the Mandalorian. Big bronze Mandalorian mask / helmet to that show. The 3 of us are pretty much in agreement. Like season 1, I do not agree that like I was not in Mando mode while watching Mando. I can switch those kinds of things really easily in my brain. I don't know why, but so I was super pumped for the Mandalorian, and it was great getting like a new show. Like this was the first Star Wars live action show we ever got. So that was like a huge deal. It was very exciting. This was like the start of a new era, so I was all on board. First 2 episodes of Mandalorian are great. Episode 3 is pretty good, and then then the Shrimp Planet, also great. But then we like land in the middle of the season, and you just hit like a friggin' Beskar wall. Like the Tatooine episode, like Toro Calican, and the prison breakout. I literally had to think of that like right now. I could not think of what other episode it was. I loved Bill Burr.
Yeah, Bill Burr. Yeah.
I love Mayfeld. I like Mayfeld's return more than I like his debut.
Hey, season 2 episode was not to cut you
Season
off.
2
One of the best. The Believer
is fantastic. Might be one of my favorite Star Wars seasons of all time, of any show.
Yeah.
And the Marshal will forever be my favorite Star Wars anything show related, TV show related. The Marshal, that episode will never be topped. That's just perfect. Season 2 is fantastic. I love Creature of the Week. I love Cameo of the Week. I don't care. I'm shameless about it. And then Luke appeared at the end, and I was like, oh, this is just amazing. What a perfect ending. Then Grogu goes back to Mando in Book of Boba Fett, and then season 3 happens, and they try to salvage that as best they can, and I think they do a pretty good job. But I actually really liked season 3. I liked the reclaiming of Mandalore. I think it might have happened a bit too fast, but honestly, that didn't bother me too much. Yeah. It really didn't, and I loved the Plazier 5 or Plazier. Is it Plazier 5? I loved that. 15.
Yeah,
I think so.
I was 10 off. My bad. I loved that episode. I thought that was fun.
Captain Bombardier.
Yeah. Loved him. Yeah. So, and the Coruscant episode also up there with some of my favorite Star Wars television of all time. The Dr. Pershing episode was just so good. So there's like so many cool moments in The Mandalorian that I couldn't justify ranking it fourth. I had to put Skeleton Crew down there, unfortunately.
That's fair.
Yeah. Kay said it may have been a cameo fest, but season 2 of Mando was still the best. Yeah.
Say what you will about the Ahsoka episode. It's awesome. Awesome.
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like I ranked Mandalorian, I think Jamie did as well, as fourth, but like the Mandalorian is really the flagship show of live action Star Wars, of course. It's probably because it was the first one, but it's like that show is such a vibe. Like you hear the theme. Din Djarin instantly became a recognizable character.
Household name, even if they're calling him the Mandalorian.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Same with Baby Yoda.
The child.
The child, Baby Yoda, Grogu.
All right. It's number 3 right now, right? That's what we're on?
Yeah.
Technically?
Yeah.
I've redone my list so many times. I'm just like, what's going on here? Okay, so number 3, I'm picking Ahsoka. And originally I had it marked lower, but I moved it up for a few reasons, which I don't think anyone has really mentioned, maybe like once so far. The biggest reason is it's pretty much Rebels season 5. And Rebels is like one of my all-time favorite Star Wars things, and getting to see at least some version of it, of the events that happen after playing out. It is where it is. So like I would rank it higher if it was like animated as like the Rebels sequel. But that being said, I love all the new stuff that's introduced within Ahsoka. So I love everything around Baylan and Shin and all of their mysteries of just like the way that they're followers of the Force and like what they're doing, and then whatever Baylan is doing, what his quest is. Like I'm so intrigued by that. The more I think about it, the more I'm just like, oh my god, what is he actually doing? I love everything with Hera, like getting to see Hera live action and the goings on in the New Republic. And then the biggest thing for me with the Ahsoka show is I've always loved Ahsoka, but it's kind of come and gone for me of like my love like for her. The biggest thing that the Ahsoka show did for me is it made me love Ezra as a character. I always just barely liked him in Rebels, and like AJ would always remind me, you can't have your the guys would always remind me, you can't have your favorite character be Kanan and not even like Ezra. Like they are
impossible.
They are a pair. You can't have that possible. And I'm like, all right, I like him. The Ahsoka show made me love Ezra. Iman's performance as Ezra was top tier, and like I think about that a lot. And so when I said that there was like moments that like made me cry, it's when Hu Yang says to Ezra, oh, that was Caleb Doom's lightsaber piece. Me and Ezra is literally just like, oh. And so like that was the moment I also was just like, ah. So like getting like that moment in like a live action show, even though we didn't actually get to see my favorite character, Kanan, he still is mentioned and he still is having the impact on everyone who survived and who he sacrificed for. And so like getting to see that was just like, oh, this is great. And I'm excited for like the next season as well. I think that my only like criticism is like I still don't understand the whole Sabine being a Jedi. Where did that come from? I don't get it. But it is what it is. I mean, everyone has like the element of, sure, you can like tap into the Force, and I'd like to see that explored further. I think that just by picking an established character was a choice.
Yeah, that did kind of come out of nowhere.
because like Caden trains her a little bit with the dark saber, but like it's more so how to use the lightsaber without using the Force, and so that was just like always something that I was, what is going on here? But anyway, Ahsoka is my number 3.
Yeah, like the whole Force pushing Ezra up onto the Star Destroyer is like,
I mean, like,
so I got
after utilizing the Force maybe once or twice right before that push, that didn't make sense at all.
Hey, like it awakens, and apparently it just awakens in everyone at some point. It's just like we're it's the kind of thing. What does Marty say in Back to the Future? Your kids are gonna love it because it's just like we're just not ready yet. It just doesn't make sense to us yet. It will make sense to us, and so like, I'm here for it.
What, do we become assholes or something?
Yeah.
That's something Ezra would say.
Yeah. And Kay's not wrong about Balin and Shin. Were awesome.
Oh, they were phenomenal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Matt will go into that in his
Yeah, once you get it, you get it, I guess.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Exactly.
Okay, so for my number 3, I went Skeleton Crew because Skeleton Crew was perfect. I don't think they did anything wrong with it. The kids, fantastic acting. Jude Law, like I wasn't sure about Jude Law at first, but like after watching the series, like I can't think of anyone else who could have played that role better. And like throughout the whole season, like I don't know about you guys, but like Eric and I were like, there were so many questions like that we wanted answered, and like they leave you hanging at the end of every episode, like the cliffhangers, and they answer a little bit here and there, and then they leave you wanting more every week, right? So that was great. The music was incredible as well. The only reason I have it 3rd is because I did want like the cameos and the fan servicey stuff. Like I'm glad that they didn't do it because like the show stood on its own without any of the cameos and all that fan service stuff. Like they could have done the flashback of Order 66 with while Jod's talking about it. They could have had like a flashback happen during that, right? And they didn't need that, right? They like it, the show was like that scene was perfect without that flashback as well. But I still wanted like Carson Teva to show up. Like I was like when I saw the X-wing, I was like, is that Carson Teva? Is that Carson Teva? or Mando and Grogu showing up? Like that would make sense. I wanted Hondo, even though like looking back on the story, I don't think it would have made sense to put him in there. But I still wanted Hondo because he's a pirate. So, but yeah, overall it was perfect. So I can't really complain about it.
Yeah, it would have been nice if we would have gotten a flashback of his master, and actually like maybe showing him a few things or something. But
because the actress got in costume and everything. They filmed the scene.
I wish we didn't see that.
I know.
I didn't know that happened.
I know.
Yeah. I wish everyone did not know that happened.
But
it became like a huge talking point.
If she's gonna be like cut out of Star Wars, I think she at least deserves to post the pictures.
Right?
That's fair.
About it.
Good point.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3.
So we're gonna head. I'm gonna go here because I mean nobody mentioned it yet. So we're gonna eventually have to name this show. So I'm gonna go with Andor for number 3. So I mean I love Andor. It's the second time watching it just recently, like last month. So I love that show. The way that storytelling is, the visuals, the location, where the story's actually taking us to Rogue One. I love the whole thing. And we get some backstory on Cassian, and I love it. So, but we're gonna have to get there. So we're gonna go. That's why I had to go with Andor number 3, even though to me it's up there, one of my favorite shows. I love it. So, B2MO.
Yes,
B2MO, man. He's awesome.
Oh my god, I love him.
I have a lot to say about Andor, but I'm assuming we're gonna get to a lot more Andor later on. Before you picked, I was like, I wonder if we'll all have. I don't want to spoil it, but I don't want to spoil my top 2 are. But yeah, what about 2 now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
shit number two.
Well, you're
right.
about to spoil it, AJ.
Yeah, and like, we're about to know.
I'm about to let you in on the secret.
Kate is also
Shameful.
throwing some shade at
Number
Eric.
three,
Number three, shameful.
You're all gonna have to go there.
Couple of surprises tonight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at 2, I have Ahsoka.
Okay.
So I might have had this at 3, but Jamie and I did a rewatch recently. By recently, it was like a few months ago. But
That's recent.
we didn't even finish, but we rewatched the first 4 episodes, I think. And I was like, oh my God, this show. I mean, I highly recommend rewatching these shows. Like, I still haven't rewatched Kenobi, I don't think. And maybe Book of Boba.
Right,
like, whereas the Star Wars movies, we've all probably seen a million times. So it's, a little bit different. So rewatching the shows really kind of changes your feeling on it. And it definitely did that for me with Ahsoka. I loved it anyways. I definitely like the first half of Ahsoka a lot more than the back half for some reason. I don't know why. But we get Ezra at the back half, so I did love that. But yeah, the show was great. Rebels is my favorite Star Wars show, I would say overall. It's close, but it's probably my favorite. And as Jamie said, this was the 5th season. I do wish it was an animation. I'll take Star Wars animation any day. Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch. Like, I'll mention Resistance for Matt's sake. But like all the animation is just phenomenal. But it really worked in live action. And it felt like a Star Wars movie. Like when this came out, I know it came out during the writers and actors strike, so it was like we weren't doing coverage at the time in honor of that. But I can't remember what show it came out after, but it kind of reignited something in me, and I was like, okay, this show is awesome. It was great to see Hera, Chopper, Hugh Yang, Ahsoka. I'll name all the characters. I'll go down the list. It was a solid like 8.5 out of 10. I don't know. It was up there. It was very good. But I'm sure Matt will have more to say about it.
Because my number 2 is Ahsoka.
Well, I sensed it.
That's an easy one to sense. And it's very close. Ahsoka is so good. I have never felt as giddy sitting on my couch as I did when the opening title crawl for Ahsoka popped up on screen.
Same.
And that first opening sequence with Baylan and Shin mirroring the Phantom Menace landing on this New Republic vessel, which is shot from the top instead of the bottom because we're getting like the A New Hope shot. But like now we're good. So it's like it's again the shot composition and that whole sequence is like probably like 10-15 minutes. I no lie, I think I watched that opening sequence like every day for like months after Ahsoka came out because I was just so utterly obsessed with it, and the music was so good, unbelievably good, and the rest of the show was also very good. Again, they've already said it. It's Rebels season 5, and I'll break away from them and say I don't actually really mind that it's not animated. I actually kind of like that it's live action because it gave me an excuse to show my parents Rebels. It gives you an excuse to introduce people to the animated shows to get them to watch the live action ones because they're gonna be more likely to watch the live action ones. It's just how it is.
Why is that though?
I don't know, man. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. It's just a thing. What are you gonna do? As we say. But I get where people come from when they say that they don't understand where the Force-sensitive Sabine thing came from, and I mostly agree. I think it's playing off of a very, very old concept that George had way back, like in the original Star Wars days, where like anybody can have the Force if you just hone and train it enough. And I like that idea, that mirrors a lot of, Buddhist principles that George was working off of when it comes to Star Wars. And, that the Force push is actually one of my favorite moments in Ahsoka because it's when Sabine is finally able to let go of Ezra, impose her self-exile on Peridia for the damage she's caused, giving Baylan the map, and bringing Thrawn back to the known galaxy, as it were. So I think that's really powerful symbolism. She's able to let go, and that's when the Force kicks in because that's what Jedi are trained to do. And that's kind of like her final trial. So really cool. Also, Ahsoka's in it. She's great. She's great. She plays a really cool master. Shadow Warrior might be, again, one of my favorite. It's in the top 3 of my favorite Star Wars episodes of all time. I think I've named all 3 now. Shadow Warriors is fantastic. I don't mind that Hayden looks like he's 40 instead of 50.
They did a better job in Ahsoka, though.
They did do a better job in Ahsoka of making him look younger. I agree. And I just really like the incorporation of like the shadow, the shadow being like a niche concept that George used a lot in the original trilogy. So again, you can tell Dave is ripping straight from his mentor's brain when he's writing these things, and some of the execution might not be super polished, but it's polished enough for me to be like, ooh, yeah, I see what
you can
doing.
feel it.
Yeah. I can feel it. Exactly. I'm giddy.
Yeah.
And Matt, I'm glad you brought up. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Kay said that I see it as she was able to force push Ezra because she loves him. I mean,
yeah. And I actually, to go off of that, I know Matt was talking about that. And I know people have like an issue of like, and I've come around to this too. And I don't know if it's just Matt has kind of explained it to me better. And I've kind of had his understanding or just other people like that. But I don't see it as like, okay, she just tapped into the Force and she can already do that. People have a problem with that. I see it more as like the Force wanted it to happen. Like the Force wanted Ezra to get on there. I see it as more of like a fate thing. So like it's not just it's Sabine being a tool for the Force. And it's like we're talking about the Force here, so it's talking out of my butt pretty much.
But you're not talking out of your butt because Ahsoka literally says that at the end. She says everybody is where they need to be.
Yes, and I think people should see the Force like that. Like the Force is making things happen, and the Force wants the good things to happen, basically.
The Force works through people.
Yeah.
People do not work through the Force. The Force works through people.
Which it's hard to remember that sometimes. I mean, I see Sabine do that, and I'm like, wait, how'd she do that? And it's like, okay, well, like, I gotta come back to Earth and think about it.
All of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she could love Ezra, but you still need to be able to let go. That's what Kanan does with Hera, and that's what makes that moment so unbelievably beautiful.
She lets go because she loves him.
Exactly.
There
we go. Fever Dreamland Theater says, hey all, enjoying the stream. Maybe we'll get to see Yasmin Al-Masari if they do a Skeleton Crew season 2.
Yeah, please.
She deserves some screen time.
Yeah, so I'll jump right on that. So my number 2 is Skeleton Crew. I loved Skeleton Crew. It absolutely blew me out of the water. And I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I was going to, but I think the fact that we didn't know anything about it and it was its own little story, but it still fit so well into Star Wars. I just loved it so much. About like the additional content with the Jedi who found Jod as well. I would love to see more of that in the future, of just at least like the meeting or something. And like, I have a lot of thoughts and theories about like how much Jedi training he had. My thought is not much, barely anything, maybe 5 minutes. He was never a Jedi. That is my thought. Yeah. That is my full thought. And I don't think that the other Jedi was even a master. But that being said, I wish that they somehow incorporated it a little bit, because I just don't like how they literally gave her the green light to be like, yeah, you can post it on social media, because then everyone outside of it is just like, oh my god, all this could have happened. And it's like, guys, look at what we were actually given, please. Anyway, that's not my point. I love Skeleton Crew. I loved all the kids. I loved SM-33. I loved Jod. I knew Jude Law was going to absolutely kill it, and I knew he was going to be a character of questionable morals as well. And so like I just loved how it all panned out. I loved all the pirates. Ad-Atin was so funny, like just such like a unique thing. The dystopian future vibes off the chart. And I just loved everything about this show. And like I said when I started, like it was so different but so uniquely Star Wars at the same time. And it was just everything that I wanted. And like I think you mentioned earlier, Christopher, of like how you were expecting more cameos throughout it. I love how it did not have like anything. I love how like I didn't have to think, oh, there goes like Carson Teva. Like I love that it was just some no-name guy. Like I love that. Yeah. I feel like any sort of cameos would have taken us completely out of it. And so I love that it was clear that, oh, it's the New Republic and it's a bunch of X-Wings and they're the good guys, but it wasn't anyone we know. So it was more so in reinforcing the fact that it's not just like these two people saving the galaxy. I love that.
Two
And so,
X-wing pilots. Yeah,
exactly. I like how we finally had like more of the variety out there. I love Skeleton Crew, and I really hope they get a season 2 because
yes, please, season 2.
I just really hope so.
Yeah, and as much as I wanted cameos, like if it was Carson Teva in the X-wing, like as much as I wanted to see him in there, it would have made the galaxy seem a little bit smaller if he's like in every X-wing that you see.
Very true.
I mean,
You're right, Chris.
One of the big takeaways for the kids was Fern says to her mom, everywhere we went across the galaxy, even though there were bad people everywhere, there were also good people. And so by making the galaxy be so big, but also making it small again, it was really cool to see like the dynamic of they did meet a ton of people. And yes, this New Republic is absolutely massive than what we already know it to be. And I can't wait to see how they fit into it in the future as well. That'll be really interesting.
I know.
Yeah. And then before I get into my number 2 spot, like Matt mentioned, like the mirroring of A New Hope in Ahsoka, like they did the same thing in Skeleton Crew 2 with like the boarding and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah,
I forgot to mention that.
Yep.
Like Matt,
Jod was Vader.
Matt literally was like, the way that you just explained it.
Even did like lifted the guy up too by the hand and like was choking him, right? So.
Matt literally said he got giddy every single week watching Ahsoka. That was me watching Skeleton Crew. I was so excited to watch Skeleton Crew every night. I honestly don't think I've been that excited to watch a Star Wars show every week since like, well, the Bad Batch, but since like Andor. Honestly, so like getting that. Hey, we all know what's coming. So like,
well, now we do.
Getting that Skeleton Crew just gave me so much joy. Like it literally is going to be the show that like I rewatch over and over again because it just gave me so much joy.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was fun.
Yeah. It was that they achieved what they set out to do was
into Star Wars.
Yeah, bringing back the fun into Star Wars, but like they said it was going to be like all the Amblin movies from the 80s, and it was exactly like that. It had that feel throughout the whole series. So
yeah.
But yeah, number 2 for me, I went with Andor. So Andor again, like it was pretty close to perfect for me. Like there's not too much to pick apart from that. Like Luthen's monologue and episode 3 or whatever. Like that was amazing.
Oh yeah.
But like the first couple episodes were a little bit too slow for me. But other than that, like I like the story arcs. Like you had like the 3 episode kind of structure where it was like 3 episodes for this part of the story, 3 episodes for like the prison break and the prison stuff. And I'm excited to see season 2 with the time jump every few episodes, which should be pretty cool as well. But yeah, there's not really too much to complain about for Andor. Like, and we got 12 episodes of Andor. Yeah, which was amazing.
That was really good.
12 hours of Andor.
Right,
pretty much. Yeah.
Holy crap! Can you imagine?
Right.
Oh.
So 77 days till more. 77 more days till Andor. There we go.
Season 2, please.
It's close.
Yeah, we're close. Yeah, Andor's number 2 for me. So
yeah, we were talking about Chris. Like it was going to be every 3 shows. Every 3 was going to be a time jump.
A time jump, a year time jump.
And one director was going to do 3 movies. I mean, 3 shows. So it's like the perfect little story arc. You could write his little story and.
It's like we're getting like 4 movies.
Yeah.
And the last one is going to lead right into Rogue One, which leads right into A New Hope. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's insane. God, can't wait.
So we got number 2. I've got Ahsoka. So we got a continuation of Rebels, and we got live action Chopper, Ezra, hologram Anakin, and Force Ghost Anakin. So Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati, and a potentially amazing season 2 and
Mm.
Thrawn.
And the Clone Wars flashbacks.
Well, yeah, Thrawn's
The
also
Clone Wars
there.
flashbacks.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Thrawn.
Thrawn's on there.
World Between Worlds. Yeah.
Christ, Thrawn! I can't believe I forgot to talk about him.
That guy.
Balin.
that
Balin
guy.
is just
It-
amazing.
And the potential of what we're going to get for season 2, and that man.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I think this is going to be an amazing season 2. So yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
And moving into the
Right.
first
I'm on the
place.
edge of my seat.
The top
Right?
spot.
I know. What
What
could
could
it
it
be?
Should the three of us all say it together?
Yeah, because it's the same.
All right, here we go.
Marauder's pick is Andor.
Yeah, I said earlier I don't give out 10 out of 10s very often for shows and things, but this Andor was a 10 out of 10.
Andor,
And I went into it not because I wasn't the biggest Rogue One fan. I don't really know why. It's just
It goes back to what you said earlier about.
I think it goes back to what
being
I
in
said about the
sequels mode.
timing. Because
it
bad
does.
timing.
Rogue One came out in the middle of the sequel era, and it was like, oh, I'm really enjoying this show, but there's this other thing coming out at the same time, and you liked both, and it's like, which one can I like more? And there was this unspoken competition about Rogue One and the sequels, and so we were just like, ah.
Yeah.
And so when Andor came out, it was just like, hey, I like it. And then it was like, oh my god, I love it. And so like it just was unexpected to be that much.
Yeah. So I mean, long story short, I wasn't expecting to love Andor so much. And then like the first trailer came out and I was like, oh my god, this looks really good. And it ended up being amazing, like perfection. I give it a 10 out of 10, so it is perfection. And it wasn't even just because Cassian. I mean, Luthen was an amazing character. I loved the 12 episodes, and each one is basically a different movie, as you guys said. The prison arc, amazing. Like one of the best things in Star Wars.
Yeah,
Kino
Kino
Lloyd,
Lloyd, yeah.
his
What
speech.
a character!
I mean,
His
there's almost a
speech.
great speech per arc. Like
Yeah.
This
they're
is the monologue show.
basically.
Yeah, no kidding.
And on top of it all, I mean, the music was great, but on top of it all,
Yes.
it looked amazing. Like they filmed on location for all of it. I'm pretty sure. You know, if not, you know,
They filmed in a prison.
yeah, exactly.
No,
In the middle of the ocean.
pretty much everything was some sort of a physical set and like tangible, and like they
Yeah.
filmed on location whenever possible, and like you could tell, and it just looked incredible because of that.
That's true. Kay says the Aldani arc is underrated.
Yeah.
You almost kind of forget
is.
about it, but like with the eye and the visuals
the
there.
eye was
yeah.
beautiful, man.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Like,
And,
remember
his
the couple
face,
weeks that the eye was like the best thing, and then
the
one
prison
night
arc
happened.
hit. Yeah. and
Who
then
was
the-
the
Like, wow.
Martina.
Nemec with his little
Nemec.
Nemec.
We forget about
Nemec's
Nemec. He was great.
manifesto. Can't forget
Yeah.
about Nemec. Poor guy. Yeah, I mean, you guys have already kind of said stuff. What you said, Jamie, last time about like how every time they went, everywhere they went in the galaxy, there was a bad person, but there was always also a good person.
Yeah.
That is Andor personified in terms of Ferrix and in terms of the community. Like the show really does a fantastic job of showing community building, of showing community resistance,
Absolutely.
of just showing how like just groups of ordinary people can like organize
Yeah,
and
strength
rise
and
up
resistance.
against rise
Yeah.
up against an oppressive force, and it does it so well. Brasso, what a guy. What a bro. He's probably like my favorite character in Andor. I did a rewatch of him recently and I could not get over how much I loved him. He watches over Andor's mother. He takes care of Andor. He takes care of everybody. Cassian, I should say,
Hits
not
people with
Andor.
bricks.
Yeah.
He hits people with
And
bricks.
Yeah, bricks.
He's like the ultimate, like, you know, badass, like fascist punching badass. Like he's just the guy, like the man. Brasso's just the man. And like I said, the
Bix.
show. Yeah, well, yeah. All of
Yeah. Bix.
everybody.
Yeah. Everyone.
Bix again does the same thing. She, you know, basically sacrifices herself to.
Bix's story arc is wild in season 1 because she is doing something that she thinks is pretty small, but still contacting Luthen without even knowing who he is fully.
Yeah.
But just having this loose communication, and then like because she does the small act, she gets like ultimate punishment for it.
Exactly.
And so like it's just another thing of it, and I can't wait to see where her arc goes in season 2.
Oh yeah.
But like
Luthen looking over the destruction of Ferrix after like talking about the entire show about talking about how like people need to rise up. There needs to be violence, blah, blah, blah. And then he actually sees it happen. And it's like the reality just like setting in, like, here we go. Like, I'm not making it out of this. It's begun. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. Andor
Dark
trailer.
Jedi is, I don't know. Super Bowl, maybe?
Oh,
because like
it's always that'd be nice.
Because it dropped. The show drops like what 2 days after Celebration, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably do something early.
Celebration.
So
let's be
you
real.
imagine they would do a trailer pretty soon. Yeah. So like Super Bowl would make sense.
The usual formula is at the latest they will drop something a solid month out from when it is dropping. That is that at bare minimum, which they might do. They tend to do that. But maybe the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Have they said how many episodes they're going to release at the beginning? Because I know they
did the last. I would imagine probably a 2-episode again, because that's been the going thing, right? 2 episodes every time.
They always do.
I don't like the 2-episode launch. Just
I do.
They start with the 1 episode, and then when they get closer, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna give you another episode, 2 episodes. We love you guys, you know." So
release 11 episodes to start, and then 1 episode.
One episode. Yeah,
there you
go.
Perfect.
Kay said, "Love the grounded realism. Love the fact that it focuses on the regular guys in the galaxy. Good versus bad. Brasso is my boy. Yeah,
the best character.
Yeah, like
I wish I had his figure."
Like Andor, they never made one, did they?
No.
I didn't think of Brasso.
Give me a Brasso with a little plastic brick, please. And thank you.
The thing with like Andor that I absolutely love is like it is Rogue One, but cranked up to like 25.
It's the prequels like, to Rogue One.
Like you don't even realize how much of a you don't even realize how important like that is going to be with your consumption of just understanding of the Empire until like you actually have it handed to you and be like, these are the atrocities of what the Empire is doing, and this is it. Like, look at it. And Andor just gives us all of that, and it just looks so good. And it's just all of it is just so striking. Every single new character is incredible, and I can't wait to see more for season 2.
Definitely.
Double Brasso and Marva in one. Yeah.
Please, anything.
They can say it on the box.
You did double Brasso and Marva action.
And Marva's speech too at the end of last episode there was
show of monologues.
Amazing too. Yeah.
Awesome. Pontification, if you will.
So
word of the night.
For my number 1 pick, I did not go Andor. I went with The Mandalorian. I first live action series. The first season was great. Second season was better. Third season kind of fell off a little bit, but I still enjoyed the majority of the episodes. I enjoyed all of the episodes, but there were more that I didn't enjoy as much in season 3. So like the Jack Black episode kind of didn't need to be there. But I enjoy all the Mandalore, and Din Djarin, Grogu, Ahsoka in season 2, Bo-Katan in season 3. Like, I know it kind of became the Bo-Katan show after a while, but I enjoyed it all day. So
that goes the last one for me. I'm with you, Chris. Mandalorian. Yeah. So amazing season 1, amazing season 2. 3 was hit and miss, but we had some amazing scenes on there. We had Killer and Beck. That was awesome getting
Killer and Beck.
Yeah,
1,000%.
Great sequence.
Yeah. I love Mandalorian history, and so also Mythosaur. So yeah, those are some really good episodes, and like I said, I love Mandalorian history. So yeah, that's perfect. I loved it. So that's my number 1. So
that's great.
Yeah,
I think that's very fitting. It's like it's the flagship show of Star Wars, like I said earlier. So it's good that it got some number 1 votes in there, of course. So
definitely,
So somebody had to give it a number 1 vote.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm glad it got some.
It's good though. It's good.
Yeah,
I think like we were pretty. Our rankings were pretty similar.
Yeah, we had the same pretty much the
Like-
same shows in our bottom and then same shows in our top, with a few
Yeah.
exceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part. But that was fun ranking all the live
This was
action
fun. This was
shows.
Absolutely,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we appreciate the three of you coming on and rank.
appreciate
Of
being
Sharing
here.
course.
your
Thank
ranking
you
as
for
well.
having us. Thank you for having us,
Um,
guys.
Before you guys take off, do you want to let people in the chat and people who are watching on the replay where they can find you guys? And again, plug your channel, let them know what it's all about.
Do you want me to take it again? I'll take it again,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Okay, so
That's really good at it.
thank you again for having us, guys. We had a ton of fun. We always love chatting our favorites. Because again, the caveat, we love all Star Wars. But if we're forced to rank, we shall. But yeah, so the three of us are from the HoloNetMarauders podcast. So we have a YouTube channel, which is just YouTube at HoloNetMarauders, and then on social media everywhere we have the at HoloNetMarauders, and that's it. We are space pirates with a podcast, and thank you guys so much for having us on your show.
Well, thank you for coming, and we'll definitely have you guys on for another ranking episode.
When you do this
in the
again,
future, then.
definitely.
We will do this
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Sounds
Awesome.
great.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Have a great
guys.
night.
Thank you.
You too.
See you guys.
Yeah.
See ya.
And
That
now
was
let's
fun.
jump into some Star Wars news and rumors. So
All right.
a lot of stuff. Well, not a lot of stuff, but like some somewhat big news, because we knew there was a rumor of this happening. Henry Cavill could be playing a Sith Lord. So let's jump into that story first. So the Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, rumored to be up for a villainous role. And when they say villainous role in Star Wars, that's the first thing my mind's going to is he's playing a Sith Lord. Because, like, yeah, bounty hunters could be villainous too, but like I said, the first thing you think of as a villain is Sith, dark side. That's what you think of. So previous rumors have claimed that Henry Cavill is in talks for an undisclosed role in an upcoming Star Wars project, and we're now hearing that the former Superman might be up for a villainous part. So the news broke late last year that Lucasfilm is developing a new Star Wars trilogy with Simon Kinberg, X-Men Dark Phoenix, tapped to write and produce these three films. A follow-up rumor claimed that Henry Cavill has met with Lucasfilm, about a potential role, and another reliable insider has since backed this up. We don't know which character the actor is said to be in talks for, but MTTSH via sffgazette.com is now reporting that it is a villainous role. So the insider previously said Cavill was up for the part in Kinberg's trilogy, but we're not sure if that's still the case. Cavill has appeared in a number of major comic book, sci-fi, fantasy franchises over the years. Superman. He played Geralt of Rivia in Netflix's The Witcher, and the Wolverine variant in Deadpool and Wolverine. And then he also has a lead role in the Highlander reboot. So could he also be planning to take a trip to the galaxy far, far away? I guess we'll have to see. So what are your thoughts?
I think that's amazing if he's a Sith or dark side user.
Yeah.
Or possibly
that's the first place my mind went, right? When I saw this.
Yeah, dude, he would crush that role. Also, he would be like, since he's got that British accent, not to downplay on or talk about the British accent, but typically when they use a British accent, it's the Imperial in Star Wars, right? So if it's a first order, like feature First Order or Stormtrooper or not a stormtrooper, but a commander or somebody of a higher ranking,
a general, a Grand Admiral, perhaps
a Moff, maybe. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
So I think that's a perfect role for him. I mean, now he's got time to do so.
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Dreamland said Mando's in my number one too. Yeah,
Anthony, that's the show, man. I can't wait for
the show.
I know we talked about season 4 that they're actually
that they could
season 4.
They could be doing after the movie, so that's cool.
Dude. Yeah, so no, that's awesome, man, and I'm glad that Star Wars picked him up. You know, with his downfall with DC, being Superman's that universe's DCEU's Superman. This is I think a step up. Not to say I think not a step up, but a sideways kind of move. I think that's a better way to say it, because being Superman that's a dream role for anybody. But
Fever Dreamland said, "I love Cavill as a dark side baddie."
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, he's got the acting chops. So
he does. Yeah, he's a great actor. And like Deadpool said in Deadpool and Wolverine, we'll treat you so much better over here than those. Well, I can't say that on this podcast. So
yeah, no, I hear you. No, so
it's
I think that's cool, man. It's exciting.
Yeah,
exciting. We get Henry Cavill as a bad guy.
Right.
Now, we were speculating maybe about a week or 2 weeks ago that possibly, him being a Jedi in that that new Kinberg film
trilogy.
Kinberg trilogy. Yeah. So. Yeah. But if he's a Jedi, I think that works. That works better for him to be the powerful figure that he is, to becoming a bad guy. I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so Rosario Dawson and the Bad Batch wins the Saturn Awards. So Star Wars projects has some love for Star Wars. Oh, sorry. Star Wars project has some love at the Saturn Awards as Rosario Dawson wins the Best Lead Actress in a TV show for Ahsoka, and Bad Batch won Best Animated Series for the third time in a row. Rosario Dawson beat out a number of impressive nominees for the Best Lead Actress in a TV show. While Rosario won her award category, Ahsoka did not take home the award for the Best Sci-Fi Television Series. Meanwhile, Bad Batch took home Best Animated Series despite going up against a number of heavy hitters in the animated spot. That means every single season of the series has won the award, and congratulations to them, because I love that. Yes. I love Bad Batch. So Andor has also nominated. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say that just goes to show how good the animation team at Lucasfilm does, like story-wise and animation-wise too, right?
Yep.
So
definitely no. I mean, so Andor was also nominated for Best Home Media Release, but didn't win. Also, slightly Star Wars related, Mark Hamill also picked up a Saturn Award for Best Guest Star in a TV series for his work on Netflix, The Fall of the House of Usher. Nice. And finally, costume designer Shauna Tipkick won a posthumous Emmy for her work in Ahsoka last year. So there was some awesome wins for Star Wars, and to put the limelight on what these super talented people can do for the Star Wars universe. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I think that's awesome too. Like Star Wars is still getting recognized for
kudos for Rosario Dawson. I mean,
exactly, right.
And who's that internet guy? The guy on Instagram. He was like a couple of years ago when he put that image of Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. From that. For her winning a Saturn Award, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Well done. Congrats to Rosario and the Bad Batch.
Yep.
And even for like just being nominated too, like Andor being nominated for that award and all the other ones. So yeah, that's awesome. So could Gina Carano be coming back to Star Wars? What do you think, Eric? Do you think she could be?
I'd love to see her back. Cara Dune is an amazing character.
That's my sentiment too. So according to this article on comicbookmovie.com, The Mandalorian star Gina Carano has shared an update on her legal battle with Disney after Cara Dune firing. So the Mandalorian star Gina Carano was fired by Disney after backlash to several social media posts, and has now shared an update on her continued legal battle with the House of Mouse. So the former MMA fighter remains at loggerheads with Disney. It's been widely reported that the actor hopes to receive $75,000 payout and possibly even be rehired by the House of Mouse in an Elon Musk-backed lawsuit filed after her firing from The Mandalorian in 2021. So that came after Cara Dune actress shared a series of social media posts that deemed offensive by many. The main source of outcry saw her compare being conservative in a modern America to what thousands of Jews went through at the hands of the Nazis during the Holocaust. So having lost roles in The Mandalorian Season 3 and various other Star Wars projects, including the now scrapped Rangers of the New Republic spinoff, Carano wants to make Disney pay. Her acting career has also never recovered due to the controversy. So talking to X via sffgazette.com, Carano provided an update on the case and said, quote, "It continues to move forward, and I anticipate having more substantive update in the next few weeks. We remain determined, and my team has been exceptional in honoring the court and respecting the process. I'm very proud to have this team." She also said, "Thank you for all your continued support. Cara Dune Day yesterday, January 30th, touched my heart. Onward." So if she could be rehired by Disney, maybe we see her in season 4 of The Mandalorian. Like we won't see her in The Mandalorian and Grogu because that's already wrapped. But potentially a 4th season of The Mandalorian, maybe we see Cara Dune return.
4th season of The Mandalorian, and then that future.
The Rangers. Maybe that Rangers of the New Republic gets put on the table, right? Maybe I'm sure just because they took it off the table doesn't mean that they don't have that just sitting there just in case like something happens, or maybe they try and rework it somehow. But I'm sure they still have that idea set aside, right?
So that was
scrap the whole thing.
So that was scrapped at the same time, or a little after she was fired.
A little after, I think shortly after.
Who's to say that maybe that's why they put it on hold for the time being?
Yeah, like the Lucasfilm and Disney, they're not going to literally rip up all the pre-production stuff, everything that they had set up for this show that they wanted to make. Like they're not going to throw all that stuff out, right? It's probably sitting on a shelf somewhere, and
I just hope for the best of her, her career. If she can mend things with Disney, that's awesome. If she can come back, that's awesome. But I'm not sure if they're past that point now of I don't know, redemption or past that point of hiring her back or taking her back in.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, stranger things have happened, but that'd be awesome if we get Cara Dune back. And not just mention that she took off and she's doing some other stuff like how they
Kay is right on the money here. So she said, I like Cara Dune, don't necessarily agree with her politics, but also don't necessarily agree that she should have been fired over it. Bring her back. Yeah. That's pretty much it. That's what it comes down to. Like, I don't agree with what she said, but like what I think firing her was a little overboard.
Yeah, no, it's the whole.
Like I think I saw on social media that Kevin Feige was thinking about bringing Kevin. What is his name? Kevin Majors or what's his name? Who played Kang?
Oh
Jonathan
yes,
Majors.
Jonathan Majors. Yeah.
Yeah, they're thinking about bringing him back just to wrap up his storyline, which like I'm fine with. Again, like I don't agree with the stuff he said. And stuff,
and some of the stuff that
was going on
at the time
that he was, I don't agree like that, but bring him back, wrap up his story, and that's it. So
if it balance wise, if it works for one, then it should be for the other.
I think so too. Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll see where this leads, and hopefully good things for Cara Dune and Gina Carano coming back.
Hopefully.
So definitely no. So we got Skeleton Crew concept ship appears in Skeleton Crew. Millennium Falcon concept. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading today. So the second episode of Skeleton Crew, way out past the barrier, took the young crew to Port Borgo, home of the ruthless pirates. As the Onyx Cinder approaches the port, a ship passes by that's been confirmed as a ship designed taken from the original concept of the Millennium Falcon. I didn't catch that. I've seen the concept before, but so many ships on a series. Somebody had a really good eye catching that the concept for the Millennium Falcon. As soon as the episode aired, so we have which you can see in the top above the screenshot, was spotted by a fan model maker, Mel's Miniature, who recognizes similarities between the new ship and a very old design. The design aptly dubbed pirate ship dates back to 1975, when legendary model maker Colin Cantwell was tasked to design the ship for Han Solo. So a similar ship was used in the TV series Space 1999. So George Lucas felt it was too close to the design, so he decided, to go with his radical new design, design for the Millennium Falcon that we know. So it was that ship was remade into the Princess Leia's Tantive 4.
They redesigned the cockpit and all that stuff.
So Kanto was responsible for developing early models, which also was the one which was X-Wing, a TIE Fighter, and a Star Destroyer. He honored Andor's first season with the appearance of the Cantwell class Arrestor cruiser, a ship modeled in an unused early Star Destroyer prototype from his work in the original series, movie. See, the actual model seen on screen was created by another original trilogy veteran, Bill George, who created the B-Wing starfighter. I love that scene. With the B-Wing on the Skeleton Crew, amazing. So now Bill is retired and still an enthusiastic model maker, and was fascinated by the origin of the Millennium Falcon. Decided to create a model with his own spin on the design. So there's way more story to this if you guys want to read it. But I love models and the whole little 3-dimensional version.
And there's a comparison of the three ships. So like the far left is the original Millennium Falcon concept, the Space 1999 Eagle transport in the middle, and then the Tantive 4 on the far right. So you can see they're very similar.
Yeah. A Tantive 4, I was confusing. It's for the Corvette. So on Rogue One. So similar design.
Similar design,
with the thrusters in the back and everything.
Yeah.
And the
I like how I like how they've been throwing this stuff, like unused stuff or like concept stuff, or even like in the case of Ahsoka, like they threw in that little R2 unit that was an action figure. They threw that in the speeder on Lothal, right? So like they've been doing this in all this stuff. Like they brought back the blurgs from what were the blurgs from? They were from, was it the Ewok series or the Droids series, cartoon series or something?
The blurgs?
Yeah. What was it? They were originally in like an animated show, I think, at one point, and they brought the blurgs back. They did that in the Mandalorian. The ferry driver.
It was on the Clone Wars. The blurgs were
the Clone Wars. Yeah, the Clone Wars. Yeah. The first the Tartakovsky one. And then like that ferry pilot in the Skeleton Crew, like that was that Teak alien character, like that was from the Ewok TV movies. So I like that they're throwing these things like in as like little Easter eggs for us to find.
Yeah,
so I really like that.
Yeah, no, I love when they use the old retro stuff and bring it into something, a new project.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool,
right? Kay said I'm able to keep characters and actors separate on most things. Yeah, that's good. Same here. Like whatever you're doing in your personal life, like it's
your politics,
it's not affecting your acting. Yeah, like
exactly.
Yeah, don't have to agree with your personal beliefs, your political beliefs, all that stuff. Kay said it's a stick ship. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that does it. That wraps things up for this episode. A little longer episode because we did the ranking, but it was a fun episode again.
This is fun.
Ranking was fun. It was interesting to see. It was interesting to see everyone's ranking and how, like, it was different, like, for the most part, but like similar. Parts of our lists were very similar as well. So yeah. So that was a fun ranking. We'll definitely be doing other ranking episodes, and we'll most likely get some special guests on for that, so we can get a third or fourth or fifth opinion on that stuff too. So, but thank you everyone for watching in the on the live stream and watching on the replay. Let us know how you would rank all the live action Star Wars series from worst to best down in the comments if you're watching on the replay. And yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see everyone in the next episode.